Hey guys, it's Jackie. Welcome back to my channel. So, February seems like it's going to be a really busy reading month for me. I have finally managed to book a date for my qualifying exam that will make me ABD, or all but dissertation, for my PhD progress. So I basically have like the next 2 weeks to brush up on everything I've been studying for the last several years, which is a little scary, but very exciting. I've been trying to become ABD for a while now. But that means that the first half of February, at least, certainly is going to be filled with a lot of school reading, reading for my dissertation, reading for making sure that I'm totally up to snuff for my qualifying exam, with not a lot of time left for pleasure reading. But I did want to make sure that I did a very special book challenge for February. And it is one that I did do last year, but I didn't have a Booktube channel then, so it was kind of more of a private thing. But that's Blackathon. So if you're not familiar with Blackathon, it is an incredible reading challenge that takes place over the month of February, which in the United States is, of course, Black History Month. And the purpose of Blackathon is to uplift Black voices and to centralize and celebrate Blackness in your reading for the month of February. And ideally, just like, every other month of the year. I really make an effort to kind of prioritize diversity when it comes to my own reading, and I have so many books featuring Black protagonists and or by Black authors that have been kind of burning a hole in my bookcase, so to speak. And so Blackathon is a really perfect opportunity to finally, stop making excuses and read them. So some information about Blackathon, which I will be including some info and links in the description below to kind of help point you if you would also like to participate this year. But Blackathon is, again, primarily, which I'll get to that in a moment, primarily a reading / TBR challenge that takes place over the entire month of February. It is this year being co-hosted by Lauren the Novel Lush and Jesse Bowtison Books, who are two of the original creators of the challenge. And it does have other fun elements folded into it. So again, it's a reading challenge. It also entails a Twitter blackout, an Instagram challenge. There's going to be like live movie watch-alongs every Friday, where I think Twitter and Instagram, you can go on the stream in Twitter or Instagram and watch like a Black classic along with the rest of the people following the tag, which the first one I think is Coming to America, which makes me so happy just because I love Coming to America so much. I literally just rewatched it like last week before I even knew that Blackathon was doing the movie watch-alongs, just because sometimes I get in a mood to watch Coming to America and I just watch it again and again and again. I had like the weirdest fixation with Arsenio Hall when I was a baby that I don't fully understand. But whatever. Not that Arsenio Hall isn't great, he's a great comedian, but I loved him as a child. Anyway, now I'm just ranting about Coming to America, which if you haven't watched Blackathon, this will be the perfect opportunity for you to see Coming to America. I think some of the other movies are like Love and Basketball, Black Panther, of course. So it's a lot of fun things. And again, a lot of ways to centralize and celebrate Blackness and uplift Black voices. So I highly encourage you to participate. But again, the main component of this is this reading challenge, which I do plan on doing. Which this year it's split into two teams that you can go one of two routes with your TBR choices. There is the contemporary route, or there is the SFF route, so science fiction fantasy route, the Nnedi Okorafor route, which, as I sit in front of my horror bookcase, I'm gonna be doing the Nnedi Okorafor route. I'm gonna go with SFF. That's my sweet spot. That is what makes me happy. So there's a few prompts for it. I did write them all down So here in my handy dandy little owl crate reading planner, which I've been using a lot actually to try to kind of keep track of all of my thoughts on the owl crate books. But anyway, so the first prompt is Janelle Monáe, which means reading an LGBTQIA plus SFF book with a Black protagonist. So this one is actually interesting for me because this one actually is something I do need to read for my dissertation, and particularly the dissertation chapter that I am kind of gearing up right now to write, which is about queer vampires and the queer undead, and that is, the Gilda Stories by Jewel Gomez. And this is a very interesting book. It's a kind of pioneering book, but one that is really under-discussed. And this is a Black lesbian vampire novel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read the blurb on the back so you guys can get a sense of what the book is about. This remarkable novel begins in 1850s Louisiana, where Gilda escapes slavery and learns about freedom while working in a brothel. After being initiated into eternal life as one who shares the blood by two women there, Gilda spends the next 200 years searching for a place to call home. An instant lesbian classic when it was first published in 1991, the Gilda Stories has endured as an auspiciously prescient book in its explorations of blackness, radical ecology, redefinitions of family, and the erotic potential of the vampire story. So this one is from my Dis TBR. I'm very excited to finally check this one out. So yeah, you should check this one out. I feel like this one, of all of the ones I have on my TBR, is probably the least known. Some of the other ones I'm looking at are ones that are kind of Booktube favorites. I just haven't had a chance to get around to reading them. But this one is kind of an maybe like a rare Pokemon type. All right, the second prompt is going to be Nnedi Okorafor, a work of Afrofuturism centering a complex and advanced society. So if you're unfamiliar with Afrofuturism, Afrofuturism is a, how do you really describe this? It's an artistic movement slash kind of cultural aesthetic that centralizes blackness in conversations or art, or just, again, the aesthetics of futurity, utopia, technology, just the future that, you know, like when we talk about the future in a very kind of, you know, technologically progressive kind of way, and we fetishize the future and we look towards the future, what is the place of blackness and Black people in that? So anyway, the book I've chosen for the Afrofuturism prompt is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I've been trying to get around to read this for a while now. It's just that it's such a thickie. And I've been so busy with a number of different things. I feel like everyone on Booktube has probably read this. I feel like it's one of those books where it's like, I think I'm the last person. Which this is, as I understand it, kind of like a high fantasy, a sort of Afrofuturist, or like high fantasy and kind of an Afro-utopia. Zélie Adebola remembers, when the soil of Orisha hummed with magic, burners ignited flames, tiders beckoned waves, and Zélie's Reaper Mother summoned forth souls. I don't know a lot about the plot of this going in, which again is usually how I kind of prefer it when it comes to high fantasy novels, or fantasy novels of any kind, really. I want to be a little bit surprised, which is kind of amazing that I've managed to avoid so much of the plot of this, considering how popular it is. But this is going to be my choice for Afrofuturism, even though the next text is also very, very Afrofuturist, probably even more Afrofuturist than Children of Blood and Bone. So the next prompt is David F. Walker, an SFF comic graphic novel by a Black author with a Black protagonist. So I am finally gonna go ahead and read Black Panther: World of Wakanda. So this obviously is one of the best iterations of Black Panther, so I have been told. It was written by Roxane Gay, with consultation from Ta-Nehisi Coates, as I understand it. And just the art style that I've seen is just stunningly beautiful. So this has been burning a hole in my long box for a long time, and I want to go ahead and finally read the first 5 issues, which is about the length of a trade paperback. I've heard nothing but glowing reviews of this run of Black Panther. So I'm very excited for this. And then the last prompt is Donielle Clayton, an SFF book with a cunning and ambitious Black protagonist. So this is another one that I bought when it came out, and it's been sitting on my shelf like, you're gonna read me at some point? And I'm like, maybe. Hi. As I, pull 40 more books into the house. And that is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. I've been meaning to read this literally forever. It sounds so interesting to me. It's a Civil War zombie book, which I think is so fun. I love the deckled edges. I really love deckled edges. Is it just me? I know some people really don't like deckled edges. But I'm going to go ahead and read you guys the summary of this one. Jane McKean was born 2 days before the dead began to walk the battlefields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, derailing the war between the states and changing the nation forever. In this new America, safety for all depends on the work of a few, and laws like the Negro and Native Re-Education Act require certain children attend combat schools to learn to put down the dead. And so basically, as I understand it, Jane kind of gets co-opted against her will into this this school that is training young Black women and men to be like these zombie killing bodyguards for like rich white people, and it's obviously really not what Jane wants to do. And I don't know a lot more about the plot than that, but I don't want to read the blurb. I've just had too much bad luck lately with blurbs that like spoil too much of the book, I think. So those are the books that I want to read for the prompts of Blackathon. I would also really like to read, and again, this is also dissertation reading, The Dark Fantastic by Ebony Elizabeth Thomas. So it's The Dark Fantastic, Race and the Imagination, from Harry Potter to the Hunger Games. And this is specifically about representations of Blackness in speculative fiction, popular fiction, and fandom. I have been wanting to read this since it came out. It came out late last year. Dr. Thomas actually spoke at my university. She gave a presentation on a similar subject, and she was just incredible. She's so brilliant. Like, oh my god. So, and look at the book. Look at the cover. I love when literary criticism and academic tomes have just stunningly beautiful covers. I think that the publisher, which was NYU Press, knew that this was going to have some crossover into the general public, as we would say in academic publishing, that there's going to be interest in a book like this outside of just like, the usual academic literary studies circles. So I would also like to read that in February. It's a book that I need to read for my dissertation anyway. So I might as well put it on the pile of all the other things I need to get read in the next few weeks. All right, so those are my books for Blackathon. If you plan on participating this year, please let me know your TBR below. I would be fascinated to know what people are reading for this. If you need information about, Blackathon and all of the challenges and all of the prompts for, say, the contemporary pathway TBR, then I'm going to be linking everything down below. I'm certainly going to link Jesse's video. So, happy reading, everybody. I'm just trying to get some things wrapped up here before February 1st. Again, I'm probably going to be reading most of this TBR in the second half of February, because the first half of February is going to be me screaming and trying not to light my hair on fire as I get ready for my quals for qualifying exams. So anyway, see you later.